The Witch of Eternal Youth. Detective Daniel Hart had seen his share of strange cases, but the string of disappearances that plagued the wealthy districts of Raven Ridge was unlike anything he had encountered. Young men and women, full of life and promise, vanished without a trace. Their last known location was always the same: a secluded, opulent mansion nestled deep in the woods, owned by the mysterious and breathtakingly beautiful Isabelle Laurent. For months, whispers about Isabelle had circulated through the town. She was a woman of stunning beauty, with radiant skin and eyes that gleamed like emeralds. Some claimed she was an eccentric recluse, hosting lavish parties every full moon, while others said she never seemed to age, her beauty as flawless now as it had been decades ago. Her guests were seen arriving in luxurious cars, but curiously, they were rarely seen leaving. Daniel had always trusted his instincts, and something about the Laurent mansion felt wrong. It was too pristine, too perfect, like a spider's web, designed to lure in the curious and naive. Determined to uncover the truth, Daniel devised a plan. He'd go to the next party, posing as a guest, and discover what happened to those who entered Isabelle's world. A night of seduction. The night of the party arrived, and Daniel, dressed in a tailored suit, walked up the long stone path leading to the mansion. The moon hung full and heavy in the sky, casting eerie shadows over the ancient oaks surrounding the estate. As he approached the massive front doors, he could hear laughter and music spilling out into the night, the sound alluring yet somehow hollow. The doors opened to reveal a grand ballroom filled with guests, all of them impossibly beautiful, laughing, drinking, and dancing. But it was Isabelle who stood out. She was the center of attention, her emerald eyes locked on Daniel the moment he entered. She moved through the crowd like a predator sizing up her prey, her beauty almost overwhelming. "Detective Hart," she said with a smile that could melt stone. "I didn't expect to see you here." Daniel gave her a casual smile, his heart pounding. "Just a curious guest. The place has quite the reputation." Isabelle's smile widened, and she placed her hand on his arm, her touch cool. "Let me show you why." She led him through the party, her voice hypnotic as she spoke of art, history, and the beauty of life. As she guided him deeper into the mansion, the guests became quieter, more distant, until they reached a small, private sitting room bathed in candlelight. The warmth of the room contrasted sharply with the growing coldness Daniel felt creeping up his spine. "You're different," Isabelle said, pouring him a glass of red wine. "Most who come here are drawn by curiosity or greed. But you're not like them." Daniel took the glass but didn't drink. "Maybe I'm just harder to impress." Isabelle's laughter was light, but there was an edge to it, a darkness lurking beneath the surface. She leaned in close, her lips brushing his ear as she whispered, "We'll see about that." The horrifying truth. As the night wore on, Daniel's mind raced. He had seen enough. Something was deeply wrong here. The guests, who had seemed so lively earlier, now appeared sluggish, their faces pale, eyes sunken. His instinct screamed at him to leave, but Isabelle's presence was overwhelming, intoxicating. It was as if the very air around her was charged with an unnatural energy. Daniel excused himself and slipped away, navigating the mansion's darkened halls. He had to find proof of what was happening. He found a staircase leading to the basement and descended, the air growing colder with every step. The basement was vast and lined with stone walls, lit by dim torches. In the center of the room stood an ancient, ornate mirror, its surface covered in symbols he couldn't decipher. But it wasn't the mirror that caught his attention. It was the rows of withered bodies. Men and women, their skin like parchment, their eyes hollow and empty, lay lifeless in glass cases. They looked as if they had been drained of all vitality, their youth and beauty stolen from them. Before he could react, Daniel felt a cold hand on his shoulder. Isabelle stood behind him, her eyes gleaming in the dim light. "You weren't supposed to find this," she said softly, her voice now devoid of charm. "But no matter. You're not like the others, are you?" Daniel tensed, preparing for whatever was coming next. "What are you?" "I am eternal," Isabelle whispered, stepping closer. "And I need their life to remain that way. Every full moon, I take what is rightfully mine." But you, Daniel, you're different. The deadly game. Before Daniel could respond, Isabelle's hands were on him, her grip cold and strong. He felt his energy being pulled from him, his vision blurring. But something unexpected happened. She recoiled, her face twisted in confusion. "You're not like the others," she hissed, her eyes narrowing. "Why aren't you weakening?" Daniel's lips curled into a grim smile. "You didn't do your homework, did you? You see, I've been cursed myself." In a flash, Daniel's dark secret was revealed. Years ago, while chasing another case, he had encountered a dark force that left him immune to certain types of magic. Isabelle's powers, though potent, couldn't drain him. She had no control over him. "You think you can stop me?" Isabelle spat, her eyes filled with fury. "I've lived for centuries. I've consumed hundreds of souls. You're just one man." Daniel drew a knife from his coat, its blade etched with runes meant to break dark magic. "Maybe, but you've never met anyone like me." A deadly battle ensued, the once luxurious mansion now a battleground of ancient magic and mortal determination. Isabelle used her dark powers to summon illusions, twisting the walls and floor, but Daniel fought through them, his mind sharp, his resolve unbreakable. In the final moments, as the full moon reached its peak, Daniel drove the enchanted blade deep into Isabelle's chest. She let out a shriek that echoed through the mansion, her body collapsing into dust. Her centuries-long reign of terror finally ended. The aftermath. As dawn broke, the mansion crumbled around Daniel, the dark magic that had held it together dissipating. The withered bodies of Isabelle's victims lay in silence, but their souls, long trapped, were finally free. Daniel walked away from the ruins, the weight of what had transpired heavy on his shoulders. He had defeated Isabelle, but the curse that bound him remained. He was not truly free, destined to wander from case to case, always drawn to the darkness, always fighting the monsters that lurked in the shadows. But one thing was certain, no one would ever fall prey to Isabelle Laurent again.